What are the three things you think we need to really master in order to be successful in this remote world right now?
Well, I sort of think about this in three ways, and there are big headings, what I call 30,000 feet. And there's a lot of ways that we can look at these kinds of mastery areas and see how we can really make them apply to our particular circumstances. Because of course, everybody has different circumstances with respect to work and family and home and all this stuff that we're dealing with right now. But I would start by talking about what is a challenge for, I think, certainly a whole bunch of really smart, really amazing people, which is technology. And I think we can break this down in a few different ways, right? One is I don't have the resources for the technology. Like I can't buy it, I don't have it, right? The other one is I'm not entirely sure how to use it. And to me, the big part for leaders is I don't know how to use it. And I'm sort of a little scared to ask somebody to show me how to use it, / there's nobody here that will show me how to use it. Some of us have like an 18-year-old kid in the house, which is wonderful as a help, right? Or even a 5-year-old, eh?
Right. It's amazing what the 5-6-year-olds can teach you about using an iPad.
So I think the biggest challenge for leaders is really about being able to, quite frankly, take the ego out of it maybe a bit. I think that's a big problem, or certainly a challenge. It's hard for people to say, I don't know how to use this. I don't know how to do it. And certainly, for some, I know a lot of people who they don't even like asking for directions, when they're out and about. They don't want, no, I don't want to ask for directions. A lot of people are like this, and these are not just stubborn people. These are really great people. So for me, the mastery is getting over that hump of being able to say, you know what, maybe I need to spend a little bit of time. There's no shortage if you've got the basic equipment, even a smartphone. There's no shortage of free webinars and free education from everywhere, from LinkedIn to Wits Training, to one of the other places I work at, the School of Business, with so much stuff out there that is available for us to see and learn how to, even just not to master, but to be able to basically get your way through and learn some new skills with some technology. So the mastery isn't in the learning to use technology. The mastery is giving up something to be able to ask for help, get the help, and to not let it be something that holds you back from being able to do whatever it is you're doing in your job.
I must admit, I am surprised surprised more and more at how many people I am speaking to that are having challenges technically with technology, specifically around things like Zoom or a Skype or a Teams. And the panic and the stress it's putting on some of these people is intense. So I liked your point. Yes, there are a ton of free stuff. And on that note, YouTube is one of the greatest platforms for anyone of any age to learn anything about technology. I think the other side to that is technology today, particular platforms, don't be afraid to click that help button and get that sort of tech support either through a chat box or a chatbot, or even a live person as well. The resources are out there. We need to lean into this technology, and technology for is an ongoing thing. So what do I mean by that? So just to help people understand, you never learn technology once and then are done. Technology is an ever evolving thing, and therefore you are always learning new technology.
And there's some actual real specific things I've thought about that I think people could do even sort of right now to get close to this, to push us towards this mastery of giving up any kind of expertise in using technology and reaching out for the help that we need. One is you may have to build in things like pre-meetings where you never had them before. So for example, we're even doing at the university really crazy stuff, like we're using a new piece of software for writing exams. So what we're going to do is go through practice exams, asking students to be volunteers so that we can all understand the technology. So this is a really great idea. Like, think about before your meeting with everybody, the first one you've had in 2 weeks or whatever, maybe we should encourage everybody, hey guys, spend this amount of time learning how to use the software. And by the way, I've taken the initiative to send you, here's 5 links on some tutorials for how to use the technology. By the way, here's something that will help you, ease your fears if you're concerned about all the security things in the news, etc. I think that that's something really, really solid that people can do right away.
Mastering technology, easy for some of us, a little more difficult for others. But I think again, just to paraphrase what you said, you didn't say become an expert at the platform you're using. Say, get over the fact that you need to ask for help. You need to go through the learning curve. It's mastering the learning curve, not the actual platform itself.
Yeah, and you and I both know it's got to be. Imagine some people being on the call with all of their staff, and you're in a leadership position, and your dog is barking or whatever it is. It's got to be really embarrassing and really hard for somebody to say, "Hey guys, you know what? I am not doing great. Sorry, somebody help me." I think that's cool. And I think it's time for that kind of stuff.
Number two. So if mastering is number one, what's number two?
Thinking differently about how we think about balance. So you got a guy juggling 25 plates, okay? And he's holding. And man, if even a gust of wind comes and touches him, everything's going to come crashing down. And then all of a sudden, the world deals him 15 more plates. That's what I'm talking about, right? So, but he doesn't have any more room. He doesn't have any additional limbs. He doesn't have any additional skill or balance or any of those kinds of things. It's a good metaphor, yes?
That's a great metaphor.
For me, that's pretty much what it's about. We got a lot of people who, even before this, had a tremendous amount of balance challenges with, I know for some people it feels like a long time ago, right? It's a liminal space thing. But, before this, the thing I always spoke about is setting boundaries that, after 8 p.m., I'm not going to answer my phone for work, or I am going to answer my phone for whatever it is, right? And I think in a way the same holds true today, but we just have a lot more plates.
Give us some more description around that. So when you're talking about balance.
So first of all, balance has always been a terrible metaphor. It's really also about just sort of thinking where I want to put my energy. And it's about something I think I don't know if we talked about this last time, but about building in periods of time for the things that you require ahead of time. It's this, it's this, we came at it from a different angle. Last time we talked about it in the context of creating some certainty, right? Well, now we're talking about it in terms of creating some boundaries. It's the same skill, but it has a different sort of set of objectives, which is kind of cool, right? Because you can do one thing that hits a whole bunch of places that you want to hit, right? Hits a whole bunch of all the sweet spots. So, for example, if you're a frontline worker, this is something I was reading about the other day. If you're a frontline healthcare or even grocery, because now these days a grocery store worker is a frontline worker, man. The expectation that, for example, you hear on the radio, everyone's cooking now, and now you're saying, "Fuck, I gotta cook too." Well, maybe it's about making a decision that says, you know what, if I'm making this choice and the right choice to use my expertise in the front lines, then maybe I ought to give up the home cooked meals for a bit, and set that expectation for myself so I'm not disappointed, or whatever, or at least perhaps I can budget for it. It'd be a little more expensive than cooking at home.
Yeah. I think you just nailed something there, which was, I think it's really around giving ourselves some space with these expectations we carry on ourselves, which is, it's okay to now give up doing certain things in order to keep going in other areas, right?
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time, if you don't feel like you're doing something different right now, then you're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, and here's another one that's important for a lot of people probably listening. I know it is for me. I have elderly parents. And so this is a big challenge in terms of that role as well. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching who not only have, like I do, teenagers and young adults, but also have highly functional older parents who are living on their own, who I can't see, right? And who the kids can't see. And in fact, I'm very fortunate in my life to have 4 elderly people. Both sets are grooving around and trying to make their way through this too. Everything all the way up to my 97-year-old father-in-law. And one of the big things with my 80-year-old dad is who you know, Gregory, right? Is I had to convince him this morning to not go to the post office, right? So, I mean, and again, he's a smart guy. He's one of the smartest guys I know. But it's so unsettling to somebody who's older and they really need, that's a big role that I play. It's a big part of the roles that I play, as we're talking about. And I think a big part of that, of the kind of advice I've been giving them is you got to give something up. You're not going to be able to send that document in at the time that you wanted to. You're not going to be able to pick out the vegetables the way you're normally used to it at the Easter or Passover, or whatever it is you celebrate. You're not going to be able to do everything. You got to look at yourself and say, am I doing things differently? And that's part of the balance, Kids, I'm not going to be able, because I do this job, I will not be able to fulfill as much as role X as I would like to.
Yeah. Look, my wife, we're very fortunate. I shut my office down, many weeks ago, and I set up a little private studio here that, my wife would come here to the space with us just to do some work. And obviously, we're also trying to, be at home more with the kids. We do have help, which is fortunate. But she tried to stay at home today to do the homeschooling thing, to also take the calls. And was really, really, really stressed out about it, was trying to do both, was really trying to live and fulfill and meet expectations of mom and teacher and, marketing director and team leader and, peer. And it built up and built up and built up and built up. So, we were talking about a little earlier, saying this very similar to what we're talking about now. It's okay to let go of some of these things in order to accomplish this. And, maybe we make number two, what we got to master is the art of sacrifice or the art of compromise. Can I compromise what I'm doing now? Or can I sacrifice what I want or the way things should be done in order to achieve this, and then get back? It's not about quitting. I think it's almost prioritizing, right? Okay, my plan was for this today, but we're going to have to shift that to the side and move on.
Thinking what you've just described, that kind of thinking, Gregory, can really be the kind of thing that can propel people into making the right kinds of choices. Because the way I always frame it is, what are you going to give up? You got to give up something.
Right.
What's the sort of thing you're giving up? And so, I think a big part of that becomes being able to think about what's most important. Like I said to my dad, I said, so, I'm not saying to you, just as you're saying, I'm not saying don't ever deliver these documents. I'm saying sit on it for 3 weeks, and you're not alone. No one's getting ahead of you. It's not like other people are doing the thing that you can't do,
Yeah, I think also what he wanted to do is, like all of us, is we want to feel purposeful and we want to get back to certain routines and normalities and some certainty. And how bad can it be going to the post office, which technically, at his age, it is more of a risk. So what is the thing we got to master? What's the final thing we got to master in order to survive this crazy shit that we're going through?
When people tell us to reinvent ourselves and to refine purpose, which I do not think is bad advice. I think it's great advice. But I don't think everybody can do it. I don't think that obviously right now that there's an opportunity for the kinds of career growth and development that everybody working in every industry would like to have. So that for what we really have to master is flexibility in terms of thinking about work. If you can't earn, you're a professional like us, or maybe I have friends who are medical professionals or optometrists or plastic surgeons or physiotherapists. They're in the same boat. I mean, they're self-employed professionals. I told them that it's not the case. You can't just throw up your hands and say, I can't do this one thing I've done for 20 years. Therefore, everything's turned to shit. What you have to say is, you know what, it won't be the same as it was before. Won't be the same amount of earning. Maybe I'll earn nothing, you know? But I have to have some flexibility in my willingness to take on stuff that I can earn some money for if I have some responsibility, and B, the kinds of stuff that I'll do. And I'm not saying that, you know, you have to become, take the lowest job in the world if you're a leader or a professional. But what I am saying is maybe a consulting gig for a charity for half the price you usually charge isn't such a terrible idea. Or reaching out to clients who've given you a lot of business over the past year and offering up something pro bono with the opportunity to purchase more at a much lower price, or, you know, whatever it is you're doing, to be, and all the way to, you know, even if you're a chemist, you know, and you've been making soap, or I don't know, maybe there's an application for your work there. Maybe there are people that could use some assistance selling products online that normally are like the one I've been thinking of is like, you know, I have a pool. I'm lucky enough to have a swimming pool in my backyard. I have the smallest pool in the world. But I've been thinking, you know what? I don't know if they're going to come open my pool. But you know what? If I take the perspective of the guy who built my pool, who services it, who I'm very fond of, by the way, really like a lot, and it has always provided amazing service for me. I say to myself, I haven't said it to him. Maybe I should. Why don't you offer up, hey, dude, I can't come and open your pool, but for $50, I'll sit with you on Zoom and show you how to do it yourself. Right?
It's funny that you said that. I have a couple buddies who I met through business, and they run a very successful company, and they teach things like storytelling and public speaking, and you know, the art of really capturing the room. In fact, I've interviewed them on the podcast before. And we were talking about that, and I said, guys, you know, you have a wicked opportunity right now that, you know, people need to learn how to present effectively through Zoom, right? You being able to put on some, hey, here's a little course, or here's a course on how to speak and tell stories and capture and deliver and present through a digital format like Zoom. It would kill it. Anyway, I hope they are doing it. If they're not doing it, this is your other reminder to get back onto that idea.
Yes,
it's a fucking idea.
Let's go.
So the flexibility needs innovation. Like, we need to get creative again with that stuff.
Absolutely. And a big part of it, and realistically, for a lot of people, especially, you know, senior managers, you know, they're not necessarily have equity in the company, or may be in a position where their jobs are more uncertain than others. Saying to yourself, it's like, you know, it's the translation of this. I used to say to people who were out of work but were once professionals, you're not going to be the person who sweeps the floor, but you might get a manager job and you'll earn money and you'll feel good. You'll do it for a year and you'll do something else, you know? So now it's about saying, you know what, maybe you'll get a gig to do something small. Maybe you'll get an opportunity to show what you can provide for an organization by doing it for a volunteer organization or a charity, or your own company if you're an entrepreneur like you and I, right? Or for the institution that you work for, you know, like we both have some work that we do at Shula School of Business. I mean, you know, and hoping maybe to get a chance to get a little something out of it. You might get a little something, you might not, but I don't think it's below us to ask for a little something. And I don't think it's below us to take something much less than we might think we otherwise would want to. That's the kind of flexibility that we have to master for number 3. Cannot be the same as before. It's not going to be. So once we take a big swallow of that, it makes it a little bit easier to be flexible.
Right. Yeah, you know, the whole story of change, right? Change management. And what do we know about change management is, you know, can't really manage change. Change occurs, and then we try to manage our shit once the change has happened, right?
We're the ones who need the managing.
Right. So, you know, I think, you know, at this point, the change has already happened. We're well past it. And now it's about experimenting. And experimenting requires us to be a little flexible and innovative and creative. And, you know, a little bit of the attitude of the what if I did try that? What if I did go and do that project? What if I did take that phone call? What if I did sort of do that meeting? It's action that creates the path. It's the opportunities then present.
Also, I wanted to add one more thing that I think
Yeah.
you might really like, and that is that I read a little bit about this. I told you I was trying to find the article before. I couldn't find it, but this is a wonderful idea. I have been, and I know people who have been having this experience. Maybe you do too. So there's a huge bunch of people who normally, for example, would be anxious, uptight at work, maybe socially a little bit more withdrawn, or maybe a little bit more neurotic, or
Mhm.
anxiety, or likely to experience anxiety, that normally feel that like, geez, at the beginning of this, I was going to lose my bananas, but after like a week, I sort of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I feel like I should be the kind of person who is struggling to cope, but I'm finding that I'm not. So I've been reading about this little phenomenon where a lot of people who think, you know what, I thought I'd be a flipping basket case, man. But it ends up I'm not feeling the things I expected to feel. And I think there might be some people out there which brings about, a bigger picture of the three sort of things we talked about, which is, maybe there are some pieces of us that change management. You just talked about it, get our shit together. Well, maybe my shit together when my system changes is I got to look more carefully at how that system change results in me seeing things in me that I haven't seen before.
It's, as human beings, I think we're really afraid to do it until we're certain, right? What's it going to feel like? What's it going to be? And it's the opposite, which is to take the step or to take the leap, and then to decide, am I up for this? Am I up for continuing?
Take a look around you, man, because you know what I'm seeing, as in line with what I just spoke about people that are finding that they're better capable than they once thought they were. You know what? Take a look around you and see how unbelievably adaptable human beings are. Right. You really, stand way back for a second, and here we are, right?
The world fucking changed 5 weeks ago, well, at least in North America here, 5 weeks ago. But think about what life was like 5 weeks ago.
And yet we still have a supply chain and all this. I mean, we are managing. It's unbelievable. I know, like you, I'm an optimist. I look at this and I say, this is mind-blowing. How can we've done so amazing in this country. And the big reason is because of centralized healthcare. I'm going to say it out loud. It's our social healthcare system that has resulted in listen, it's not perfect, just like it never has been, but we are in way better shape. And that's what this is about. I mean, we have to look at this and say, holy crap, look at what they did. It's not perfect, but oh my God, we're so unbelievably adaptable.
Yeah. And we're still adapting, and we're still thriving and growing and pushing through. And I promise everyone, I swear to you, I promise you, right? You will be stronger and tougher and more resilient from this. You will be better parents. You will be better leaders. You will be better businesses. You'll be better human beings, because this situation has forced us to level up. So we're going to log off now. For the ones that are celebrating holidays tonight and this weekend, we wish you and your families the very best. Stay happy, stay healthy. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below, like the video, comment.
Down below, guys, click it. This is the way to get more of these amazing, lively discussions. So happy to be here, Greg.
To everyone else, again, stay happy, stay healthy. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Greg Witz. Thanks so much for coming and checking out the video. If you like that video, you're going to love the next one. So I'd highly suggest that you click this video over here. And don't forget to subscribe and share.